8th Anuvaka of the Chamaka Prashna and the 9th Anuvaka of Chamaka Prashna, both of them deal with the all the things that are necessary for yajna. The ancient commentators have interpreted these two in two different ways. In one way, they interpret it with respect to the various utensils and objects that are needed in yajna. That is part of Karma Kanda. Then they also use this in terms of meditation and yoga, which we can say as Upasana Kanda. So, which one should we take in this context? Which particular interpretation should we accept? Since this is a Karma Kanda part, and then we are using Chamaka Prashna for a ritual called Vasordhara. Vasordhara means after the entire Rudrahoma, everything is done. As a culmination of the yajna, this Chamaka Prashna is used for a continuous offering of the ghee in the Yajnasala. If any of you have carefully noticed the Maharudra Yajna that has happened in the past years, if you have not, you will have a chance to see this year. So at the end of the Yajna, a long, very long, like a ladle is held, and they will continuously chant the Chamaka Prashna, and continuously ghee will be flowing. So therefore, my personal feeling is that we should interpret this as asking for the various vessels and the various aspects of the Yajnasala is of relevance here. Because if you go to Yogika, they talk about Sushumna Nadi, this Nadi, Kundalini, and all those things are there. So probably it is a bit of a stretch. There is no internal support in the mantra itself to mean that. So very clearly, for example, in the next Anuvaka, they start with Idmaschame, Barheschame. All of that belongs to Yajna only. So we will take that interpretation. So why 2 Anuvakas? It is because the first Anuvaka talks about Antaryajna, that is the inner yajna that we have to contemplate, and the 9th Anuvaka contemplates on the Bahir Yajna. What do we mean by Antaryajna and Bahir Yajna? The Antaryajna is all these vessels contain something in them. So what do they contain? For example, even in the everyday puja, you have a container for milk, you have a container for ghee, you have a container for sugar. So which is important? Is the container important or the content important? It is the content important. But when you are actually lighting up a fire, and then you want to make a fire, which is more important? The stick is more important. The dry leaves are more important. The Agni is more important. There, Bahir Yajna, the object itself is important, whereas in Antar Yajna, the content is important. So now we are looking at the contents also. In these contents, there are 29 vessels are spoken of in this 8th Anuvaka. And each one of these is dedicated to a particular Devata. So why each one of them should be given to a particular Devata? What is the big deal about it? Why not use alternatively, whatever vessel you get, why not you grab and start using that? You don't do that in your kitchen either. In your everyday cooking, what do? You have got a separate vessel for making sambar. You have got a separate vessel making for rice. You have got a separate vessel, isn't it? It's all your way, your vessel. Nobody is going to see. You can use any vessel and do anything. But why is it you don't do? It is because, and there is no logical reason also, isn't it? So in that context, you look at all these vessels. They are given the names of the vessels to say that in these vessels, whatever offerings you are making for those particular devatas have got to be kept. For example, Adhipati is one exclusive vessel among all these vessels, because you cannot keep actually yogurt is what is used here. In this country, they use the word yogurt. It's actually curdled milk. So the curds, actually, those curds are always to be kept in one unique vessel, and that unique vessel is called Adhipati. So that Adhipati is the most important vessels of all. So Agamshushchame, the Amshu, one of the devatas, all these are the names of the various devatas used in Somayaga, in one of the most elaborate yajnas. Actually, I think as we speak, there is a Somayaga going on in Kerala. In Kerala, somewhere in Kerala. Very, very elaborate and very, very labor intensive, very resource intensive.
Is that the 12-day?
Yes, 12 days, yeah.
That happens in Thrissur.
Yeah, in Thrissur, yeah. It is very, very rare, and in our recent memory only it has happened in Kerala, nowhere else.
Brahma Samajyam also.
Yeah.
And it always rains after that.
Yeah, it always, and then they set fire to the Yajnasala at the end. So I have a videograph of the previous, yeah, the whole Yajnasala is set
They have
fire.
a cow tied there and a
Yes.
cart.
Yeah.
It had, my dad used to say that
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Actually, Fritz Stahl, a very great Indologist from America, has actually completely documented it. If any of you are interested, I have a 5,000-page 2-volume book. You are welcome to browse that.
Story of India. They show something.
Yes, yes.
Netflix it is there. Concise summary we will decide.
I will give it to you. I have to give it to you anyway when I go a little deeper into the Yajnayudas.
Story of India.
No, he said 5,000.
Yeah.
5,000 pages, 2-volume.
For us, my
Yeah.
brain can only take.
Agamshushchame, Rashmischame, Adabhyaha. Adhipati is a special mention. Upamshu, Antaryami, Aindra Vayava. That means two deities, Indra and Vayu, to whom you offer. Then Maitra Varuna, that is Mitra and Varuna. The Ashwini Devatas, Ashwinaschame. Then Pratiprasthana is another name of the deity. Shukra, familiar, same Shukra. Manthi, Agrayana. So these are all many of the devatas which we don't know. And then, of course, those are actually mantras are there for that. Offerings are made. How they look like, and then what is their form, and all that is you have to dig deeper into understanding. It's a little out of scope for our study. It is enough if you know that all these Eitanavaka, every one of them, Mahendraschame, Adityashchame, Savitrashchame belongs to Savita. Then Saraswataschame belongs to Saraswati. Paushnashchame for Pushan. Then Patni Vrata, another deity. So all of these deities, whatever offerings you have to make, you have to keep in separate vessels. Special mention to be noted is, one is the Adhipati, where curds are kept. And so, for example, if you are watching if you go to Maharudra Yajna and all that, they have arranged everything, and then make sure that you see where is the curds. So when you look at that vessel, you can say, this is Adhipati. So at least you will be able to mentally make a note of that. Then Vaishwadeva, you will see that one word is repeated twice in this Anuvaka. The reason for repetition is some of these rituals and yajnas take place both in the morning and in the evening, because of the depending on the elaborate way in which. So for the Vishwe Devatas, that is a multiplicity of the Devatas, you have to have a separate vessel for morning and separate vessel for the evening. So there will be two vessels for Vishwe Devatas. So that is the reason why in this Anuvaka, Vaishwadevaschame has been repeated twice. The first one belongs to the morning oblation, and the second one belongs to the evening oblation. So next week we will see the next Anuvaka. The next Anuvaka requires a little more understanding, little more elaboration, because many of those things you already know. That is, what is Darbha grass? What is the importance of Darbha grass? Samidha, Samit, which is why should we have those twigs? And then what do those twigs represent? So we will go a little deeper into the next Anuvaka. This Anuvaka, so many vessels. That's it.
So these vessels, does it have to be any particular, metal or any shape?
Most of them are either wood or made of clay. They don't use any other metals because as we saw, everything will be set to fire at the end. At the end of the Somayaga, nothing will be there. The whole place will be reduced to ashes. In fact, many a time what happens is, once the yajna is over and the Avabrata Snana takes place. Avabrata Snana is the final bath that the Yajamana and all the priests they take. Once that is taken, there is recorded history that mysteriously the entire Yajnashala catches fire. Almost as though from inside an Agni came and then burned. They cannot trace how that Agni was started. And immediately after all these things are burnt, there is going to be a rain.
Remember that.
Yes, and it is going to rain. And that rain will completely make the whole atmosphere very, very cool and very nice. So miraculous things have been seen to happen even in this, in our own life. In fact,
Yeah, it was burning hot till then.
Yes.
Hot summer.
yes, yes.
burning, No trace.
No trace after that. No trace after that. So, but I was not able to go there and so stay there at that point of time. But